Yeah, so this song like cracks into like emotions for me. I mean, a lot of songs do. So I like Nora Jones, Corinne Bailey Ray, John Mayer. All right, there are others. This is kind of like more electronic, but they put kind of like this kind of emotion. Like Alt J would be another one. Okay, so yeah, like Alt J is a good one. People that like, okay, this is good for like actors. So this type of stuff. I mean, listening to that, that's the one thing that I can do to like. It's actually kind of their life. Like a lot of those people that make music like that's kind of melancholy. It's like they had things that were like really sad that happened to them. They're just accessing it, but they're kind of like now they're kind of cool. Now they're cool with everything that happened and they're fucking whatever. But those are the emotions that they're. Let me go ahead and get into another one for you here. So I use a book as a furnace, as a template here, and then I like to read it. I get the benefit of reading it, but I'm also sharing it, and you are hearing intellectual words, and I feel like there might be something good there. Okay, we'll begin. You gotta find it, man. You gotta find it there. This is like the introduction, like meditating, On the meditations in his meditations, Marcus Aurelius Antoninus describes himself as a male, mature in years, a statesman, a Roman, a ruler. When Marcus Aurelius wrote this simple description of himself, he was emperor. He was born in Rome as Marcus Annius Verus on 26 April AD 121 and died on the northern frontiers of the Roman Empire near Sirmium in Pannonia on 17 March AD 180, like his adopted father and uncle by marriage. Okay. So, first off, I'm gonna have to turn that fucking music down. Okay. Different things will work a little bit better than others, but the point is, dude, just to come to the right fucking decisions. Are you gonna be capable of coming to the right fucking decisions on anything, dude? On anything? I don't really do, like, if there's an introduction, dude, it's like, no, like, I'm not trying to hear from, like, I'm trying to hear from the person himself. I don't need someone to, like, do an introduction in, like, their words or their voice. I'm trying to get it in my words and my voice. So, like, I mean, unless, like, so if you're doing a biography, the way you would do a biography properly would be probably, like, lots of quotes. I need, like, a ton of fucking just, like, direct quotes in their first person. Okay, because that's the whole point. That's the benefit you're getting, is you're getting on their mainframe. So if I do, like, a biography as opposed to an autobiography, I have to have it laden with their quotes. So if I were a biographer or, like, an author essentially making income through that, I'm like, well, let me choose. I'll do a book via, like, Yogi Berra, because I'm sure Yogi Berra has a ton of quotes. Or essentially your quotes, if you're a person, so people are understanding, relearning how to do culture and things like that. This is that process. This is like fucking ripping off a fucking Band-Aid that's fucking stuck on you, and you're fucking mad at me that I'm fucking ripping off the fucking Band-Aid because it hurts to rip off the fucking Band-Aid, and you have a couple hairs come up off the fucking thing too. But if we don't fucking remove this fucking Band-Aid, then things are not good. Anyway, I tend to do better on songs like this, believe it or not. So songs like this, just meaning like I would, I guess, like, rap, like Marvin Gaye rapped, fucking Sam Cooke rapped, Otis Redding rapped, Stevie Wonder rapped, people of that ilk, they all rapped. Sam Cooke rapped, okay, and they played piano, and they played trumpet, and they were masters of those crafts, and they performed every fucking night, okay? It's the same fucking thing, dude. Ernest Hemingway is white, therefore if I'm black, I can't fucking write a novel. Like, you people still have backwards mentalities like that. Ernest Hemingway is white and I'm Indian, therefore I can't fucking write a novel. If you're good, you're good. That's the way everything works. You know, from my grandfather, Varus, decency and a mild temper, you know, from what they say, and I remember, oh, my natural father, integrity and manliness from my mother, piety, generosity, the avoidance of wrongdoing, and even the thought of it, also simplicity of living well clear of the habits of the rich. From my great-grandfather not to have attended schools for the public, to have had good teachers at home, and to realize that this is the sort of thing on which one should spend lavishly. From my tutor, not to become a green or blue supporter at the races or side with the lights or heavies in the amphitheater, to tolerate pain and feel few needs to work with my own hands. Okay, so it's just like, you're living in a fucking point in time where people are getting fucking cancer that shouldn't be getting cancer. Like, people are fucking having health issues that should not be fucking having health issues. This is a major alarm bells. This is major, like, emergency. This is major, just like, you can't complain about it. You can't fucking, like, these stupid fucking things make you so dumb, which would be like, somebody brings up, like, a school shooting, and then I can already fucking feel the fucking text message people are fucking about to go off, which is basically like, oh, fucking, like, gun laws, which means just someone in here is just, I know, someone in this group of idiots is just, the moment something along those lines comes up, I just know, just within fucking 3, 2, 1, fucking, oh, gun laws, you need to fucking change the gun laws. You know, from my grandfather, Varus, decency and that mild. You know, from my grandfather, Varus, decency and a mild temper, from what they say, and I remember of my natural father, integrity and manliness from my mother, like piety, generosity, the avoidance of wrongdoing. And even, like, the thought of it, like, also, like, simplicity, like, of living, like, well clear, you know, of the habits of the rich, from my, like, great-grandfather, like, not to have attended schools for the public, like, to have had, like, good teachers at home, and, like, to realize that this is the, like the sort of thing on which one should spend lavishly, like, from my tutor, like, not to become a green or blue supporter at the races or side with the lights or heavies, and the empathy to her to tolerate pain and feel few needs to work with my own hands and mind my own business, to be deaf to malicious gossip from Diognetus, to avoid empty enthusiasms, to disbelieve all that is talked by miracle mongers and quacks about incantations, exorcism of demons, and we like not to hold, quail, fight, to be excited by such sports, to tolerate plain speaking, to having affinity for philosophy, and to attend the lectures first of Bacchius, then of Tandasis and Marcianus, to write essays from a young age, to love the camp and the hot blanket and all else involved in the Greek training, from rusticus to grasp the idea of wanting correction and treatment. Oh, my character not to be diverted into a taste for rhetoric, so not writing up my own speculations, delivering my own little moral. You understand how it works, dude? It's like, not everyone knows everything about, like, your ballpark and your fucking field, but what it is like, within any industry or within any fucking field, there are people that just, like, talk the straight truth. That doesn't need to be all of them. You don't need all of them to do that. Like, you don't need every NFL player to be, like, this person just fucking speaks the straight truth, but you need like 3 of them, or you need like 7 of them that fucking are like that, where you're kind of like speaking for everyone, all right, and you're able to use the words in a particular way, getting messages across in the proper way, in the right way. And certain one of them they give a lot of interviews to, and things of that nature. And you know, certain people, like, you stand up for certain things. An example of something you fucking stand up for is like, no, we're not doing like these fucking like post-game interviews and these fucking like halftime interviews. Like, no halftime interview. We'll give you a post-game interview, okay, but there's no halftime interview, or there's no like first quarter interview. Like, people don't fucking stand up for that. But it's like the coach, it's like in baseball, okay, so baseball gets this right as far as like, this is like human psychology, which is what, okay, so the runner gets called out at second base. So what happens is the runner can't argue it. If the runner argues that he's going to get thrown out of the game, what happens? The manager runs onto the field and argues it for him. So they understand that psychology aspect better in the sport of baseball traditionally. Is you don't have the player argue it. The coach runs onto the fucking field and he argues it. Okay? He argues it. You know, and so like, not writing up my own speculations, like delivering my own little moral sermons, or presenting a glorified picture of the ascetic or the philanthropist, to keep clear of speechifying, versifying, and pretentious language, not to walk around at home in ceremonial dress or do anything else like that, to write letters in an unaffected style, like his own letter written to my mother, sinuous, to be readily recalled to conciliation with those who have taken or given offense, just as soon as they themselves are willing to turn back to read carefully, not satisfied with my own superficial thoughts, or quick to accept the facile views of others, to have encountered the discourses of Epictetus, to which he introduced me with his own copy from Apollonius. Moral freedom, the certainty to ignore the dice of fortune and have no other perspective even for a moment than that of reason alone, to be always the same man, unchanged in sudden pain, in the loss of a child, in lingering sickness, to see clearly in his living example that a man can combine intensity and relaxation, not to be impatient in explanation, the observance of a man who clearly regarded as the least of his gifts, his experience and skill in communicating his philosophical insights, the lesson of how to take apparent favors from one's friends, neither compromised by them nor insensitive in their rejection from sexist hate, kindly disposition in the pattern of a household governed by the pattern familiar is the concept of life lived according to nature with unaffected dignity, intuitive concern for his friends, tolerance both of ordinary people and of the entirely opinionated in agreeable manner with all, so that the pleasure of his conversation was greater than any flattery, and his very presence brought him the highest respect from all the company. Okay. So that right there is Marcus Aurelius, okay? Now that's just me delivering the words, okay? Now, I would put myself in the category of like a narrator, a voice actor, and an actor, okay? I have those things by legitimacy, so I call myself that. I call myself a basketball player because I have that by legitimacy, so I call myself that. I have no problem calling myself that. If someone says you can't call yourself that or intimates that, I do not care, because I view my opinion and my thought as higher than theirs. So you don't get to have you can have an opinion, but you don't get to have your opinion be accepted by me. I come to my own opinions. So you don't come up with your own opinions. The person who comes up with their own opinions, you have to back them up, right? You have to be able to defend them. You have to be able to form an argument for it. It's your opinion. So if you're the one that comes, like, you don't have an opinion. The reason you don't have an opinion is because you didn't form your opinion on your own. You let the news box form your opinion. And that's not how human beings live. That's not how Americans live. That's not how people in any country lived in civilized areas when obviously things were fucking going on. These weren't fucking silent people. Things were going on. Things were happening. Things were going on. There was like this decision and that decision and this thing happening and that. And people were living their lives for 80 years or 60 years or whatever it was. And they had to come to decisions. They had to come to conclusions. And they didn't have the fucking news doing it. They didn't have fucking Nabisco and Cheetos fucking commercials coming on and fucking this medication, this prescription, fucking Requiem for a Dream. People fucking crapped out in front of their fucking, on their couch, in front of the fucking TV, midday, watching terrible programs. It's not even fucking good. It's not even art, anything, really. Okay. God. From Pronto, like, to understand the effect of suspicion, caprice and, like, hypocrisy and the exercise of absolute rule, and that, for the most part, these people we call patricians are somewhere short of human affection, from Alexander B. Playing this rarely and never without essential cause to say or write to anyone that I am too busy nor to use a similar excuse, advancing pressure of circumstances in constant avoidance of the proprieties inherent in our relations to our fellows and contemporaries, from catalyst not to spurn of friends, criticism even. Okay, so basically, from Alexander the Platonist, rarely and never without essential cause to say or write to anyone that I am too busy nor to use a similar excuse, advancing pressure of circumstances and constant avoidance of the proprieties inherent in our relations to our fellows and contemporaries, from catalyst not to spurn of friends, criticism, even if it may be an unreasonable complaint, but to try to restore his usual feelings, to speak of one's teachers with wholehearted gratitude, as is recorded of Domitius in Athens, dotis and genuine love for children from. Okay. So 2 ways to mix up my rhythm is: 1, I can change the background song, and 2, I can change up the book. So I can get different voices and different rhythms and different beats and different whatever just by changing the book. That's part of what I'm getting from the book. Part of what I'm getting from the book is like, it's a different rhythm of which, like, you as a human being, this is how you say sentences. So one of the biggest issues, dude, is like texting and like Twitter and like what texting did to the human thought patterns. Terrible, because all these abbreviations and bullshit like that. That is terrible, dude. Like, we got dumber in the last 17 years. Like, human beings got dumber because of, like, the last 11 years, like, texting. People got dumber and staring at the blue light so much. This is what I'm showing. My eyes are in paper. Trust me, there's a big difference. From Alexander the Platonist, rarely and, never without essential cause to say or write to anyone that I am too busy nor to use a similar excuse, advancing pressure of circumstances in constant avoidance of the proprieties inherent in our relations to our fellows and contemporaries, from catalyst not to spurn a friend's criticism, even if it may be an unreasonable complaint, but to try to restore his usual feelings, to speak of one's teachers with wholehearted gratitude, as is recorded of Domitius and Dotis, and a genuine love for children, from Severus, love of family, love of truth, love of justice, to have come by is up to understand Gracia, heavy Dios Parto, Dio Brutus to have conceived the idea of a balanced constitution, a commonwealth based on equality and freedom of speech, and of a monarchy which values above all the liberty of the subject, from him to a constant and vigorous respect for philosophy, beneficence, unstinting generosity, optimism, his confidence in the affection of his friends, his frankness with those who met with his censure and open likes and dislikes, so that his friends did not need to guess at his wishes from himself. Mastery immune to any passing wind, good cheer in all circumstances, including illness, a nice balance of character, both gentle and dignified, and uncomplaining energy for what needs to be done. The trust he inspired in everyone that he meant what he said and was well intentioned in all that he did, proof against surprise or panic in nothing, either hurried or hesitant, never short of resource, never downcast or cringing, or on the other hand angry or suspicious, generosity and good works in a forgiving and truthful nature. The impression he gave undeviating rectitude as a path chosen rather than enforce the fact that no one would ever have thought himself belittled by him or presumed to consider himself superior to him, and a pleasant humor from my father, gentleness and in there's something that happens when all you motherfucking do is you take a fucking shower and you put fucking soap on your motherfucking body and you shave your fucking face and you wash your face and you scrub your fucking face with that soap and that sub. And then you put gel in your hair. And you slick your hair back. From my father, gentleness and an immovable adherence to decisions made after full consideration, no vain taste for so-called honor, stamina, and perseverance. A ready ear for anyone with any proposal for the common good to reward impartially, giving everyone a due experience of where to tighten, where to relax, putting a stop to homosexual love of young men, a common courtesy, excusing his core from constant attendance at dinner with him and the obligation to accompany him out of town, and those kept away by some other commitment always found him no deferring towards them, focused and persistent in deliberation and counsel, never satisfied with first impressions and leaving a question prematurely, the concern to keep his friends with no extremes of favoritism, his own master in all things and serene with foresight for the longer issues and unfussy control of the least detailed check he put in his reign on acclamations and all forms of flattery, his constant watch on the needs of the empire, his stewardship of its resources, and his tolerance of some people's criticism in this area. No superstitious fear of the gods, nor with men any populism or obsequious courting of the mob, but a sober, steadfast in all things, and nowhere any vulgar or newfangled taste in those things which conduce to the comfort of life, and here fortune gave him plenty to enjoy them without pride or apology either. So no routine acceptance of their presence or regret in their absence, the fact that no one would have heard describe him Yeah, it's fun, dude. It's cool to, just kind of like go out there and, just fucking like, get a little fucking like speed and, just kind of like, feel the fucking like winds at your fucking back and, just fucking like, just kind of like gain a little fucking speed and just try to fucking kind of like, just get a little fucking air and just fucking like land the fucking thing with my knees bent at 90 degrees. But that's my buddy right there, dude, Tom. Coach Tom fucking taught me the fucking knee bend thing. Thanks, guy. And those things which conduce to the comfort of life, and here, fortune gave him plenty to enjoy them without pride or apology either. So, no routine acceptance of their presence or regret in their absence. The fact that no one would ever describe him as a fraud or an imposter or a pedant, but rather as a man of mellow wisdom and mature experience beyond flattery, able to take charge of his own and others' affairs. Further, his high regard for genuine philosophers, for the other sort, he had no hard words, but easily softened them. Sociability too, and a sense of humor, not taken to excess, sensible care of his own body, neither vain nor valitude inherent, but not neglectful either, so that his own attention to himself left very little need for doctors' doses or applications. Most importantly, his readiness to defer ungrudgingly to those with some special ability. It might be in literary expression or the study of laws or customs or any other subject, and to give them his own active support to reach acknowledged eminence in their own specialties, acting always in accordance with tradition, yet not making the preservation of tradition an overt aim. Further, no liking for change and chance, but a settled habit in these same places and these same practices to resume instantly after attacks of migraine, fresh again and vigorous for his usual. Okay. So the idea is, dude, I kind of just let the voice take care of itself, but here, let me just kind of show you, most importantly, his readiness to defer ungrudgingly to those with some special ability. It might be in literary expression with a study of laws or customs or any other subject, and to give them his own active support to reach acknowledged eminence in their own specialties, acting always in accordance with tradition, yet not making the preservation of tradition an overt aim. Further, no liking for change and chance, but a settled habit in the same places and these same practices to resume instantly after attacks of migraine, fresh again and vigorous for his usual work, not to keep many matters secret to himself, only a very few exceptional cases, and those solely of state concern, sense in moderation in such things as the provision of shows, contracting of public works, tolls, and distribution. So here's what's actually happening, dude. So I live in this town, it's called Moorpark. Okay, so the reality is, dude, here's a weird thing, dude. No one has ever touched the cultural landscape in any way that like grew up here. And so there's like this, like the town is like No NFL players ever fucking come from here. No fucking MLB players ever come from here. No NBA players ever come from here. No NBA head coaches ever come from here. No A-list actors ever come from here. No Grammy award-winning singer, songwriter has come from here. No Academy Award-winning best actor has come from here. No one has come from this town. The town needs that more than anything in the fucking world. You need to create an A-list actor. You need to create a great rapper of hip-hop artist. You need to create that. You need to have that. You need to have that come. You need to have that city come. You need to have a UFC fighter. And then the city comes up at fucking Moorpark, California. Oh, fuck, dude. You know, that's what you have to have. Further, you know, his high regard for genuine philosophers, for the other sort he had no hard words, but easily saw through them, sociability too, and a sense of humor not to take into excess, sensible care of his own body, neither vain nor valedictorian, but not neglectful either, so that his own attention to himself left very little need for doctors' doses or applications. Most importantly, his readiness to defer ungrudgingly to those with some special ability. It might be in literary expression or the study of laws or customs or any other subject, and to give them his own active support to reach acknowledged eminence in their own specialties, acting always in accordance with tradition, yet not making the preservation of tradition an over aim, further no liking for change and chance, but a settled habit in these same places and these same practices, to resume instantly after attacks of migraine, fresh again and vigorous for his usual work, not to keep many matters secret to himself, only a very few exceptional cases, and those solely of state concern, sense, and moderation in such things as the provision of shows, contracting of public works, doles and distributions, the acts of a man with an eye for precisely what needs to be done, not the glory of its doing. He was not one to bathe at all hours. He had no urge to build houses. He was not particular about food, the material and color of his clothes, or youthful beauty in his slaves. The fact that his dress came from Lorium, sent up from his country house there. The many details of his way of life at Lanuvium, how he handled the apologetic customs officer in Tusculum, and all such modes of behavior. Nothing about him was harsh, relentless, or impetuous, and you would say, okay, so one thing that we're dealing with now is, like, a number of years ago, a lot of people tore down a lot of statues of great men and people that had accomplished great things. A statue is an untouchable. A statue is an untouchable. If someone earned a statue during their living years, they build a statue of you, you cannot take down their statue. All those statues need to go back up. If you earned a statue during your time, the people of the day said that you earned that fucking statue. Your statue remains. The statues have to get fucking built back up. Okay.